Look, okay, we back locked in. Now I know y'all familiar with the saying, what is it? Live safe, stay dangerous. Like something about staying dangerous but remaining safe, something like that, right? Which side of that coin do y'all fall on? Psych! That's a trick question. It's the same coin. It's the same coin. It's the same coin, right? Alright, let's get into it, man. My prime for the time. We got my prime for the time. At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. ReWAD live this time. I told y'all the reason why. Okay, without any further ado, I feel like let's hop straight into it, man. You know what I'm saying? Video by Queen, right? Y'all wanna go check it out? Queen. Oh shit. Computer, oh, it keeps tripping. Okay, I gotta like introduce it real fast so that doesn't happen again. Okay, the most dangerous mindset. Breaking down the psychology of a dangerous mindset, ladies and gentlemen. Video by Queen, as I said. Don't mind if I do. Hop into it.
There is a tendency that I'm seeing more often in my work as a counselor.
What's that?
It's concerning. It's this tendency of having a very, very little tolerance for how long people are willing to suck at something. You know, a very low tolerance for how long they're willing to kind of struggle and toil.
Okay, first of all, pause. You know what I'm saying? Pause as far. How long you willing to suck at something? How you willing to suck on something? Nah.
And fail in their attempt to attain a certain goal. So I make this video because it's such a concerning predicament, because I want to talk about what I think they're losing when they forego that experience of
sucking,
the toil and struggle and failure.
Right.
But also too, I want to talk about
and like since we on the psychology channel, right? I might as well just break the fact that if y'all know about the Sisyphus boulder. Is it Sisyphus or Sisyphus? Something like that. It's a psychological concept, right? Where it's like you got this man pushing up a boulder, very heavy boulder, like a very big boulder, up a mountain, right? They push it. I'm talking about struggling, like I'm saying, breaking their back trying to get it there. You know what I mean? Trying to get it at the top of the mountain. So it's a big boulder. This man is trying to get it at the top of the mountain, pushing it constantly, bro. And it's a struggle. It's you know, it's toiling, it's suffering, it's all that. So he keeps on doing that, and then by the time he gets to the top of the mountain, it just rolls back down, and then he gotta go all the way back down, or push it back up again. Then the cycle repeat. Pushes it up, he works hard, he gets to the top of the boulder, like finally, and then tries to like lean on it on some restful vibes, and then it rolls back down again, and then the cycle repeats. So that's like I don't know if the guy really lived, or it's just a psychological concept of philosophical it's a philosophical, I don't know if the guy really lived or if it's a philosophical theory, idea, whatever, of the symbolism of people working their asses off just so that they can get to the top or resting point for them to find out that there's more shit to do. And your survival depends on it, right? Your survival depends on, so you cannot forego that. So you are perpetually bound to, you know, struggle and, you know, toil and things like that. So yeah, I'm just mentioning that because that's what this is giving. Like what the point he's trying to make here, that's what it's giving.
Why I think it's so easy to perpetuate, and why I so fully understand and empathize with where they're coming from. So first, let's start there. Like,
let's start
looking at this situation. Like trying to picture myself as a 15-year-old or something, being told, "Hey, read Catcher in the Rye, and I want you to write this 5-paragraph essay on it." I certainly can understand being like, no, guy. Why do I want to sit there and read this book, words on a page, boring the piss out of me, and then try to sit here in front of a blank page and write 5 pages worth of material about what I thought on it? Yeah. Kick rocks.
Kick rocks? Yo. I'm guessing you're Gen Z, buddy. Like, right? Yeah, of course that kind of shit sucks to a mind like that, right?
ChatGPT's got me. AI exists.
Hey, I get it though. I understand.
Get away from me. I get it. I understand where they're coming from, right? Same thing with sports. Like, why would I want to join this team? Everybody else is already close-knit. They're friends. They've been on this team for
Please, it's not weird what I just did. I unsubscribed. That's because it's on the wrong channel. Like, I kind of like, I forgot that this is only the reaction channel because it's the premium. You know what I'm saying? On the channel where I do the posting of these kind of videos, it's not premium, so we're gonna be plagued by ads. That's why I unsubscribed here, because I remembered, no, I actually am supposed to subscribe on the psychology channel where I do the posting and where I do the live broadcasting of this kind of material. Alright, let's get into it.
2 years. They're looking at me like, who's this guy? And I suck. I'm throwing the ball like an absolute idiot. And everybody's looking at me, and I don't like how this makes me feel. Why would I do this when I could just go play video games? It's much more fun.
It is.
Why am I going to go talk to that girl and try to get a girlfriend when I've got a simulated version of that right here in my pocket, and that'll take care of what I'm looking for?
Oh shit! The AI girlfriends. That's a thing now, right? Homie talking about, why would I want to go talk to approach a girl when I got a simulated version of her in my pocket? Yes!
At least for now.
Talk about it.
At least for this moment. And that's kind of the issue. We are sacrificing a piece of ourselves on the altar of convenience every time we take the counterfeit version.
How do you know that?
Right? I'm going to take counterfeit version. I'm going to take counterfeit version that's going to satiate this feeling right now.
Yep.
And there's a major issue with that because we're not even realizing that we're on a steady diet of this counterfeit bullshit.
We're not.
Because we don't have enough time away from our phones in general to have intentionality, to have
commitment,
deep, insightful thought in our own lives. You know,
to have enough creativity.
Is this how I want to do things?
Shit.
Not having any perspective on ourselves and our lives because we're just in it, piece by piece, moment by moment, eating the counterfeit. And so that's kind of why I'm saying I understand why this is so concerning. And social media exacerbates and kind of facilitates this environment of the perceived, of the aesthetic, of just do the surface level.
That's a
just
fact.
Shine that surface. Just make it presentable. Boom. Just fix it. Quick fix. All about the looks. That is why I get the concern and I empathize with it. But I don't think we put so much thought into how deeply
that affects people,
detrimental it is to us.
Yeah.
I don't have a good word for or understanding of exactly what it is we're leaving behind. Maybe you do. What we're leaving behind when we forgo that time of toil and struggle. But it's like,
nah. But let's ask a very necessary question, especially when it comes to this generation that we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? You just pointed out, was it a gen? Okay, I don't know. But yeah, we dealing with a whole lot more young people that are like, that would look at concepts like this and literally crash out in their brains, right? They crash out, they damn near cry it all day, they depressed. Like, what the fuck? You telling me this is what it takes for me, I don't know, to build a strong character, to build strong mindset? Hell yeah! Right? But let's ask the necessary question, bro. You know, that struggle and thing, it's boring, right? Now, how can we make it more attractive for a mind, like a younger mind, like a Gen Z, a Gen Alpha, Gen Beta even, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we make struggling and toiling attract? I think that's the question. But then look at how ridiculous that sounds, right? I think it is necessary to ask that, because it is necessary. It's just that now it's more people that go on this whole, yeah, let me face the tough shit, let me face the tough times, let me eat my veggies, god damn it, you know what I'm saying? Even though I know I only want to consume the sweet stuff, right? The dessert all day. Well, as a kid, that is. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, that kind of mind is facilitated by like free will, like for as far as I can like just see shit, right? It's minds that are like heavily committed to doing shit out of free will, dog, and that are able to do shit out of free will instead of just like, I don't know, be aware of the necessity of struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, like younger minds don't understand this kind of shit. Older minds, yes, they stayed on that shit because they had no choice but to. Nigga, you had no choice but to. What power did you have? You know what I'm saying? What power did you have, like, to just like resist that whole struggle? It's like there's no other thing to do. There's no other escape ways to escape. Yes, there was like the substances, using drugs, doing all of that, but then you literally go insane, lose your mind. So at that point, like, if you're asking me, I feel like you throwing the bathwater along with the baby at that point. You know, because once you like, yeah, it's a long story. You get dependent on like external substances to keep yourself just like tapped into the game, even though it's like induces a whole lot of suffering and all of that. You know what I'm saying? At that point, it's like you even destroying the good aspects of you, even though you're going through the suffering, right? So how can we make it like more attractive, like to do like the hard shit? I think that's a necessary question.
When you read that book and you're bored and you don't know if you can get to it, you're learning something about discipline and how you push yourself and what does motivate you and what do you really want out of this life?
Yep.
And then you're sitting there with the blank page and you're thinking about the book and you're actually being honest and earnest in your attempt to pull something from who you are and what you understand, what you make of this place, and the words that were written on the page, and you're kind of coming up with something brand new with the synergy of those two concepts.
Yeah.
You're making something new, all your own, your fresh own ideas on the page. There's something so beautiful and transcendent and improving about that they're just leaving on the table. It's like there's this whole garden in you that can grow, and you can be this incredibly enriched person.
1 2 1 2.
But
Mic check.
the soil, the enriched soil that is needed for that kind of internal garden only comes from that time under tension. It only comes from being the new guy in the boxing gym who doesn't know how to throw a punch and is embarrassed as the guy next to him makes the bag sound like it's a war zone.
My gosh.
There's something in that you learn. And I don't mean just, I'm learning the skill of boxing and now I'm a better boxer. I mean, why am I insecure? I'm learning about brotherhood. I'm learning about camaraderie. There's these internal things that'll happen too. These things that will happen to you,
right?
That pull on all of these existential questions, left, right, center. And you're gonna go, wow, I know myself so much better. But what in the world is AI gonna teach you about yourself? What in the world is a video game gonna teach you about yourself? Maybe that one is.
Oh yeah, just off of that point that he just made right now. You know what I'm getting out of it? I'm getting like, bro, work with your limitations. Work with your limitations. Work with the part of you that know that you cannot make that bag in the gym moan and squeal. You know what I'm saying? Like a bitch getting fucked. You know what I'm saying? Look, facts. Right? You still got a long way to go in order to throw the right punch. Yes, that's a reality. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, it's like, yo, be in that dark mode, right? Be in that dark mode, kind of like where you face your resistance, where you see you staring it dead in the face. Like, this is a boundary for you. Like, damn, I'm trying to get there. It looks so fucking attractive to be there. You know what I'm saying? But then you gotta sit there because that's your master, nigga. That's your sensei. Your boundary is your teacher, is what I'm trying to say, right? And it's because that boundary is there is how we can then, how do I put it? How we can even have the willingness to be like, yo, nah, I want to get over this boundary, right? There's some value in your boundaries, dog. Lean into your boundaries. Don't escape from them. Because, again, that's where the whole concept or reality of escapism comes from. I don't know if y'all understanding where I'm coming from, right?
A little bit more merit than I'm giving. I'm not a video game person, but there's probably more merits in the video games.
Okay.
But
there's probably more merit in there?
The videos on your phone. Yep. What is that going to help you with?
Shit.
What's it going to give you, like, you know, that's true here? I don't know.
What the hell? Wait. Why does the statue mermaid look like it's buzzing a sexual position? What the fuck is going on? I think this is the kind of shit that makes people escape. What are you telling me? You know what I'm saying? Alright, my fault. This was just a diagram. My fault.
I don't think a whole lot.
What do you think though?
And I worry about that tendency for kids, younger individuals, and
this is a weird ass statue, bro. What the fuck? Oh my god, it is, dog. What? Look, man. What the fuck? Did I just click some wrong shit?
even older individuals.
Okay, I thought I clicked some wrong shit. Yo, my fault. Okay, we still streaming. Okay. Bro, look at the legs. Why are they thick as fuck? Why are these thighs thick as shit? Look at that. And the legs look like mermaid tails. Like at the end. It looks like a mermaid tail at the end. Each foot looks like, bro. And then the bitch ain't got no bra. I don't know, man. If this is not the reason for, you know, that toxic degenerate wave of feminism, this is the kind of shit that inspires that shit.
Individuals, even myself, to just
I'm
give
serious.
up more.
Why is a statue like this?
And just handing it over to convenience for the perception, for the aesthetic, for the sheen on top, to just get us to the next hit. I guess that's just a life dictated by dopamine or something. You know? And it's not a life I want to live. So,
nah, come on, bro. Why you lying? A life without dopamine? Okay, let's say, okay, if provided the fact you were born with a life, you know, into a life without dopamine, of which that's like impossible, bro. It's like, yeah, let me let him finish, bro. You know, I could go on and on about shit.
I'm trying to break out of it for myself and do more that pushes me out of my comfort zone, that teaches me more about myself. I don't do enough of it. And I'm trying to help with these clients to understand the benefit of that toil.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you guys think about that? What are
bro?
we leaving behind when we say, I'm just going to hit the convenient button? That was easy. You know, what are we giving up?
Bro, it's a whole momentum, bro. Bro, I feel like, you know, this thing does get to a point where it gets pretty clear, especially if you would like break it down for your own self. It's like, try and imagine a life that has no conveniences. Number one, that's an impossible life. Like life does not go without conveniences. You know what I'm saying? There are gonna be conveniences. The same way it's like it's an impossibility to just like go through struggle with no resting point. It's like the body is not designed for that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's shit like burnout, there's shit like, you know, mental fucked upness, this, you know what I'm saying? There's shit like the body literally passing away and dying because you don't rest. That's why there's such a thing called rest. And when people go into like health scares and health emergency in their younger years, it's life, it's biology telling them, bro, you doing too much, right? You're struggling too much and you are going to die. As a result, you're gonna die out. You're gonna fry out some of your organs, some of your like human organs, your brain cells, your this, then the third, your nervous system. That's why people get, you know, they fall into strokes like in their mid-30s, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be seeing a whole lot of, you know what I'm saying, people like celebrities and, you know, creators, you know, who just fall into like strokes, bro. 30s, boy. Early 30s. That shit is scary as fuck. And so therefore I feel like that's where you see the necessity of people like resting, hitting a resting place. So that's why I'm like, it's an impossibility for people to struggle their whole lives. You know what I'm saying? So let's not, yes, it's important, but let's not see this importance of breaking down, you know, being able to struggle, like embracing boundaries and limitations, working with that, struggling through that instead of escaping. And I think that's the point of homie's video right here, right? Don't escape from that, but it's not all there is to life. And the opposite being true. Nothing, like, not everything exists just purely off of convenience, purely off of just like you not doing anything, because, you know, like, we're not growing. If everything is just handed on a silver platter, literally, we're not growing. You know what I'm saying? Guatemala, I think I think it's the Buddhist philosophy or whatever. Is this guy Guatemala? I think that's his name, Guatemala, some shit. You know what I'm saying? Where he was coddled. He was a prince. He was the son of a prince or son of a king or some shit. Like, he was coddled, bro. He was like protected of every negative thing of life. You know what I'm saying? He fucking got a spiritual awakening this one day. He, you know, when he was growing up, like being coddled his whole life. He grew up, I think, early 20s or late 20s. He ghosted his whole family, his wife, his kids, his palace, yeah. Kind of living convenience, right? He did all of that because he was super curious to the other side. He was like, nah, this can't be just this. It gets redundant, it gets boring. That's why it's like, it's an impossibility, bro. We need a little bit of struggle, we need a little bit of the convenience at the same time, though, too, though, right? I had to just clarify that right quick for the record. Are you standing there like an idiot, bro?
People have almost no tolerance anymore for how long they're willing to suck at something.
That's true.
They'll try something new, feel the discomfort.
Matter of fact, they might try something new and suck on something. That's crazy. Oh my god.
Of being a
Let me get
beginner,
off that.
and within days, sometimes hours, they're done. They've moved on to something easier, something that doesn't make them feel incompetent,
Yep.
something that provides immediate satisfaction
That's
without
right.
the struggle. His observation wasn't judgmental. He understood
Right.
completely why someone
And
was
here's another thing that I just want to clarify, like just real quick as a sidebar. I'm not here watching this video to just bring it to y'all, be like, yo, this is how you learn to just be, I'm saying, a human again. It's like, yo, I kind of forgot to be human myself. So we're here together, gathered together, folks, to absorb lessons from this together, because you know I'm not perfect myself. You know what I'm saying? I need some of this
choose the
information. I don't know
easier
about
path.
you.
Why
Yeah.
would a 15-year-old want to labor through Catcher in the Rye and
That's
then
it.
stare at a blank page,
They don't
trying
understand
to
the
write
benefits.
something original when AI can generate a perfect essay
Oh my
in
God.
seconds?
That's it.
Why join a sports team where you're the worst player, where everyone else already has friendships and
Yep.
skills, when you
Okay.
can play video games that adjust the difficulty to keep you in a comfortable zone of
Exactly, bro. If these are not good questions, I don't know what are.
challenge? Why pursue an actual relationship with all its vulnerability and uncertainty
costs
when you can get a
and-
simulation of connection through your phone that
Fuck!
requires nothing of you?
Yes!
These aren't irrational choices. In each moment, choosing the convenient option makes perfect sense.
It does.
But the therapist noticed something his clients weren't noticing. They
What's
were
that?
trading something irreplaceable for something disposable. They were
shit.
sacrificing depth for comfort, becoming for accomplishment, substance for a
Yo, do you think with this concept in mind, do you think we might just reach the official extinction of human beings? Because, like, think about it. If human beings are just running away from all of, you know, the tough stuff, the labor, they're basically running away from their humanity, right? What separates them, what separates the humans from the machines and from, you know, algorithms and shit like that. Algorithms, they take care of the shit that you don't want to take care of, right? And as a result, your you know, the development of your brain in that area that you want to escape from, it phases out, it fizzles away. You know what I'm saying? And as a result, it's like, as per natural selection, it's like the people down in your lineage, the generations that you're finna create, they never gonna wanna handle that shit, just like how you never wanted to handle shit. You know what I'm saying? And obviously then at that point it makes sense when, you know, as humans move on and on and on, and as AI replaces people's jobs, people's skill sets, and this, that, and the third, or the skill sets that are supposed to be there as a result of you embracing struggle and suffering, right? It's like, damn, we might just reach a point in time when, shit, your whole life you don't have to do shit, but then, like, now look at that, like, it's like, now that's brain rot on the highest level, bruh. Because it's like your brain rots, it doesn't develop anything. And I think, you know, by that time, AI is gonna be in handle of everything, so much so that they're gonna be creating their own, reproducing their own offspring. You know what I'm saying? And once AI gets to the point where it reproduces its own offspring and own children, it's over. It's the death of the human. I don't know why that kind of sounds exciting for me. I don't know.
And
I don't
because
know,
the
I don't
trade
know.
happens incrementally, because each individual choice seems trivial, most people don't realize what they're losing until
real?
they notice a peculiar
Okay, yeah.
hollowness,
I
a
heard
sense
that,
that
yeah.
despite being perpetually busy, entertained, and connected, they're somehow becoming less. The counterfeit economy. We live in what might be called a counterfeit economy,
Temu
a world
economy?
of simulations designed to
The fuck you expect, nigga? There's all these Temus and shit. I actually ordered a condenser microphone, bro, that resembles the TLM49. If you know, you know. My sound engineers out there, you know what I'm saying? But it's the counterfeit, nigga. I need that shit. Like, it don't sound bad. It don't sound bad. I seen the reviews. It don't sound bad. And you know what? I'm going for that shit.
satisfy
I'm
the
going for that
surface
shit.
craving while bypassing
It's actually on the way. Sidebar. It's actually on the way. I ordered that bitch. I need that shit.
difficult.
Cause I mean, y'all can hear this mic. Nigga, listen to this mic that I'm fucking using. It's picking up all type of shit. It's picking up the fan from my projector, bro. Yo, if Temu can save the day at a cheaper rate, at a cheaper cost. Hey man, we doing that.
Process
What are we
that
doing?
creates genuine satisfaction. For nearly every meaningful human experience,
What happens?
there's now a counterfeit version available.
Exactly.
Relationships without vulnerability,
Exactly.
learning without confusion,
Exactly.
achievement without effort,
What else?
identity without self-examination.
else?
The counterfeits are sophisticated because they're designed to feel satisfying.
Nice.
When you use AI to write your essay, you get the grade. Task completed, problem solved, discomfort avoided.
And I just hustled myself, you know, some dopamine hit out of it too, because now I feel good because I literally cheated the game. Yo, maybe that's the new version of getting dope, right? Instead of like getting dope, so the chemical that helps people feel good, apparently, I don't know. It's like, you know what? Fuck this whole not sure of shit. Let me find out from a yo. Dope.
Hi there, Sizway.
Yeah. Just define dopamine for me, please. What are dopamines?
Dopamine is basically a neurotransmitter in your brain. It's like your body's little messenger for motivation and reward. When you feel good after achieving something,
When you feel good after achieving something, that's dopamine. Okay, so right, maybe this is finna be the new version of getting dopamine. You know what I'm saying? Is you knowing that yo, I done cheated the system, bro. They thought I was gonna do all that hard work and, you know what I'm saying, toil and struggle and do all that kind of shit, nigga. Fuck that. Nobody doing
dopamine.
that. You know what I'm saying? Wait, co-pilot, I think we done. You know what I'm saying? So that's finna literally be the new version of getting dopamine. How efficiently, how swiftly, I don't know. Like how you can just like find your way around like a fucking system that would, you know, require struggle from you. You'd be like, nah, I'm only gonna feel good knowing that I fucking cheated this system, instead of doing the right thing and developing your mind as a human being. All that boring traditional ways of developing your own brain, dog. Who the fuck has time for that?
The dopamine hits are identical. Your brain experiences the same reward as if you'd done the actual work.
Okay.
In the moment, there's no felt difference between the counterfeit and the real thing. But something crucial has been bypassed. When
What's
you
that?
actually read a difficult book, even if you're bored, something happens in the friction
shit.
between your consciousness and those words on the page. You're not just absorbing information.
But I'm not gonna lie, bro. There's something, I don't know if it's just me, there's something fascinating about knowing that I can develop a version of myself that could just like get through this tough shit. You know what I'm saying? This hard shit. You know what I mean? Because like, I'm like, the one thing for me, this is part of my natural character. I revel, bro, in being different. Like I delight in that. Knowing that I'm, you know, I'm the only different nigga in whatever regard, right? I'm different in this way. And it's like, yo, I run my own lane in that. Like, I like being different. And with more and more people, you know, tapping into just like the convenience of things and things being easier, and shout out AI, viva la AI, like type shit. You know what I'm saying? Handle everything. Take all the jobs. Fuck it. You know what I mean? And then you still can maintain that mindset of like, nah, man, I deal with the hardest shit in life. Obviously, because I'm sensitive to the fact that develops some shit in me that you will never have, since you know, you're constantly hiding behind convenience and AI. You feel me? That's fascinating for me. And even if it means, yo, I gotta go back to doing the hard shit, I might just, like, it sounds attractive. Let me just put it like that.
You're encountering another mind, another way of seeing, and in the effort to make sense of it,
Yep.
you're building your capacity for complex thought.
For real.
When you sit with a blank page trying to articulate something original, you're not just producing content, you're in the uncomfortable process of discovering what you actually think. Thought doesn't exist fully formed in your head, waiting to be transcribed.
Yo, I actually, you know what? I think with my new operation, especially with my channels, like going constantly live, yeah, there's some suffering that I'm actually trying to tiptoe around. You know what I'm saying? Find a way around or some shit. I'm looking for convenience. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking for convenience. Hella
It
convenience.
emerges through the struggle to articulate it. This is what the counterfeit eliminates, the
What?
developmental process. You
True.
get the product, the completed essay, the grade, the credential,
Yep.
but you miss the transformation that
The
happens
training,
during
yeah,
genuine
the
engagement
development.
with difficulty.
The muscle memory, the resistance. You know what I'm saying? The resistant. Alright, let me carry on, my fault.
And because we're so focused on products and outcomes, we often don't realize what we're missing until years later.
Damn.
When we notice we can't think clearly.
But you know that's the life you chose. That's the battle you chose. You gotta you gotta accept what comes with it.
Can't sustain attention on anything complex, can't articulate our own ideas, because we've never actually practiced the difficult work of thinking. Social media has accelerated this dynamic by making aesthetic more valuable than substance. Why develop actual competence when you can curate the appearance of competence? Why build real relationships when you can cultivate a following that provides social validation without intimacy? The surface is what gets rewarded. The presentation, the performance, the polished image, the messy work of actual development happens behind the scenes where no one's watching, where there are no likes or comments, where the only reward is becoming slightly more capable than you were before. The result is a...
And you see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm more attracted to the idea of like getting to that version of me, right? Hey, but getting there, like the work of developing yourself to become that kind of human being. Damn!
Strange inversion. People who look successful but feel hollow. They've accumulated credentials without capability, the vocabulary of growth without actual development, the markers of achievement without the internal substance that meaningful achievement creates. They're performing a life rather than living one. What actually happens during struggle? So what happens in that space between I don't know how to do this and I figured it out? What gets built during the period we're now so efficiently bypassing? Picture yourself as the new person in a boxing gym. You can't throw a punch properly. The person next to you makes the heavy bag sound like a war zone while your attempts are embarrassingly weak. You're visible in your incompetence. Everyone can see you don't know what you're doing. You want to leave. Every instinct says to escape this discomfort, to go somewhere you feel competent, to avoid this humiliation. If you stay, something remarkable begins to unfold. Not immediately, not dramatically, but gradually. First, you discover that your catastrophic predictions about judgment don't materialize. You thought everyone would mock you, but mostly people are focused on their own training.
Yeah, that's another thing. People don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? There's the whole mindset of like, yo, what are people thinking? Trust me, people don't give a fuck.
You thought your inadequacy would be unbearable, but it turns out you can bear it. The feeling of being terrible at something, which seemed like it would destroy you, is actually just a feeling. Uncomfortable, yes. Survivable, absolutely. This is a profound psychological lesson. The gap between what you fear will happen and what actually happens when you confront difficulty. Most of our avoidance isn't based on reality. It's based on catastrophic fantasy about what being bad...
So you telling me it's visions in my own head that I'm afraid of?
That something will mean about us, how others will see us, what we'll have to feel. When you actually stay in the discomfort long enough to test these predictions, you discover they're mostly wrong. Second, you begin developing what might be called psychological musculature, your capacity to tolerate discomfort in service of growth. Every time you show up, despite being bad, despite wanting to quit, despite the embarrassment, you're strengthening this capacity. You're learning that you can feel like quitting and not quit, that you can be embarrassed and keep going anyway, that your sense of self can survive being the worst person.
Yeah, alright, let's get down and dirty. Real vulnerable right now. I'm glad there's nobody in the chat so I can literally, you know what I'm saying, do this right quick. Look, shit, my version of this though, fuck, it's the quitting of the substance, man. Fuck. And if y'all know, if y'all had that dance with the za, bro, so with the Mary very scary. You know what I'm saying? Mary J, boy, like that shit, man, come on, bro. It's like leaving that shit behind is so like terrifying. That's because, you know what I mean, it's like what often hits my brain is the fact that, yo, let go of this shit, like everything falls apart. Because yeah, I have made myself believe that, yeah. You know what I'm saying? For me, like, because of the dopamine, the artificial dopamine kind of effect that it has on my brain, it makes everything enjoyable, right? So once you let that go, I feel like even the ghosts, right? The ghosts, the voices, the Y'all know the voices. Oh, come on, don't act like y'all don't know the voices, bro. Them shits can get too, this is crazy. You feel like, damn, bro, like, them niggas gonna be with a nigga like ever, bro. You feel like, it's never gonna get better. It's not I'm not gonna lie, after, you know, hearing this point that he just made right now, we might gonna have to reconsider. Like, so you telling me like you can live, you know what I'm saying, even though your brain keeps telling you, dog, you finna quit, bro, like just quit, like, but a life is possible without quitting? Man, hold on, break that down.
Person in the room. This capacity doesn't just apply to boxing, it becomes part of your psychological infrastructure, part of how you approach challenges generally. You're building tolerance for the space between where you are and where you want to be.
That's another
for
thing.
The discomfort.
That's the thing, right? Tolerance. Shit, building that fucking tolerance.
Comfort of not yet being competent, for the uncertainty of not knowing whether your effort will succeed. Third, and most importantly, you're learning about yourself through the struggle. Why does being bad at something trigger such intense insecurity? What does that reveal?
No, but you mentioned the reason why. It's because of that how did he put it? Catastrophical fantasy. It's catastrophical fantasy. It only happens in your own brain. That's crazy. That's sad. But it's real. Because you gotta realize nobody gives a fuck. So, you know, we constantly stuck on the fact that, yo, what the fuck? I'm dying, and like, it's a bad look. Oh my god, you know what I'm saying? What are they gonna think?
About how you see yourself, what you value, what you're afraid of. When you push through anyway, what does that teach you about your actual capacity versus your feared limitations?
That's a good question.
The therapist described how struggle pulls on existential questions left, right, and center. This isn't hyperbole. When you're genuinely challenged, when you're operating beyond your comfort zone, you encounter aspects of yourself that don't surface in ordinary life. You discover whether you're someone who perseveres or someone who quits when things get hard. You learn what actually motivates you versus what you think should motivate you. You see the gap between who you believe yourself to be and who you actually are when tested.
Bro, leave it down in the comments, bro. Like, what do y'all how do y'all behave when y'all are just like super challenged, right? And if y'all see like a moment of, you know, heavy inconvenience, and you know, but then, you know, that being the challenge that you gotta go to reach the next phase, like what's y'all response? You know, I would say leave it in the chat, but you know, yeah, I don't know why. Leave it in the comments, right?
This is the process Jung called individuation, becoming who you actually are, rather than who you imagine yourself to be. It can only happen through genuine encounter with difficulty, through situations that challenge your self-concept and force you to discover your actual self. The counterfeit bypasses this entirely. AI writing your essay teaches you nothing about your capacity for thought.
Well, it teaches me how quick I can find shortcuts to shit that I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Shortcuts, nigga.
Video games where you control the difficulty teach you nothing about your tolerance for frustration. Simulated social connection teaches you nothing about your patterns in relationship or your capacity for vulnerability. There's something else that happens during struggle that's harder to articulate, but perhaps even more important.
What happens?
The therapist talks about enriched soil for internal growth, soil that only comes from time under tension. Think about the people you know who have genuine depth, who when they speak, you sense they're drawing on something more substantial than information or performed wisdom. Almost always, these are people who have been through something difficult and were changed by it. They didn't just experience difficulty, they actually grappled with it, sat with it, let it work on them. The difficulty created space for psychological growth, for the development of capacities that only emerge under pressure. When we choose the counterfeit, when we bypass struggle, we're opting out.
So basically, this guy is going at y'all habits of just like ordering shit off of Temu. That's it. That's it. He's going against that. So if you thought you was not affected by this kind of behavior, you are. If you've ordered something off of Temu, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The very experiences that could deepen us. We remain psychologically shallow, capable of performing depth, of using the language of a
get the original. Stop taking the shit off Temu. You're a counterfeit.
Wisdom, but without the underlying substance that only comes from having been transformed by genuine difficulty.
Right.
The dopamine trap.
The dopamine trap. Let's go.
Part of what makes the counterfeit so seductive is that our brains evolve to seek pleasure and avoid pain.
Oh my... Look, you know what's hitting me right now? I'm sorry, man. Just a little quick sidebar. You know what's hitting me now? Even, bro, like, you see the trope of females, right? Who appear fake and who got, you know, fake body organs. Like, AKA, they can implant certain organs, you know what I'm saying, to make themselves look attractive. That's the human version of this counterfeit development, bro. Like, of shit, you know, developing in a counterfeit way, where it leaves you weak-minded as well, and you know your character like weak and shallow and everything that homie described, right? Think about it. It's like, you know, you go for these females who just like want these kind of shortcuts, right? They do whatever, you know what I'm saying? They just let themselves go, and all they gotta do is just go get a little Botox. All they gotta do is just go and remove the fat from other areas of their body, put that in the ass, and then that's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but they counterfeit. You see their character, shallow, nothing, right? What else? You see their mindset, their mindset, decision makings, nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Counterfeit, gone. You know what I'm saying? Shallow. It's like, bro, it's like you're getting a shell of a human being. It's so crazy that that's the pool of women that, you know, young men that y'all boys gotta choose from today. You know what I'm saying? It makes it fucked up, especially when it comes to the whole like human to human kind of dynamic of it, right? When you have to deal with a human and plant a seed, grow a family from the fake counterfeit energies. It's like, what are we perpetuating in this life, right? I don't know, man. It kind of got a little scary. Like once I received that thought, it's crazy.
Served us well in environments where pleasurable things were genuinely valuable and painful things were genuinely threatening. But we now live in an environment where this basic wiring is being exploited at industrial scale. Every app, every platform, every digital experience is optimized for maximum dopamine with minimum effort. Scroll social media and you get a steady drip of novelty, validation, outrage. Each design.
The side effect is the brain rot
to hit
and character assassination, self-character assassination.
Hit your reward centers just hard enough to keep you engaged.
Wait, why is the stick person looking like a blunt? Fuck. My Mary Jane Craven just hit. Fuck!
Play a video game and the dopamine is even more precisely calibrated. Achievements, levels, rewards, all at exactly the pace to maintain engagement without requiring genuine effort. Use AI to complete your work and you get the satisfaction of task completion without the frustration of actual thought. The problem isn't that these provide pleasure. The problem is they provide a specific kind of pleasure, immediate, reliable, consequence-free, that crowds out other forms of satisfaction that require more effort but provide something deeper. The satisfaction of actually understanding something difficult after struggling with it for days feels qualitatively different than the satisfaction of finding the answer instantly. The pride of improving at a skill through persistent practice feels different than the dopamine hit of leveling up in a game. The connection that comes from vulnerable conversation feels different than the validation of likes and comments. These deeper satisfactions require delayed gratification, tolerance of discomfort, and genuine risk. You might struggle and not understand. You might practice and not improve. You might be vulnerable and not receive the response you hoped for. The immediate satisfactions require none of this. They're guaranteed, controllable, available whenever you want them. This is what it means to live a life dictated by dopamine. Not dramatic addiction, but the steady accumulation of choices toward what provides immediate neurochemical satisfaction and away from what requires delayed gratification. We're making locally rational choices, pleasure over pain, ease over effort, that aggregate into a life that feels increasingly hollow despite being filled with supposedly satisfying experiences. The neuroscience reveals something crucial. Our brains have multiple reward systems that respond differently to different kinds of satisfaction. The immediate hit from scrolling or gaming activates our wanting system. It makes us crave more, but it doesn't activate our meaning-making system. We can be caught in...
I feel like that could be like the same system that like you know, responds to just like making a whole lot of money and shit like that. Because think about it, like the more money you make, the more you want, right? So you're telling me it's that same system that like is sensitized when you scroll on social media. It's the same system that's sensitized by getting more money, because you're gonna end up wanting more money. I think we're cooking here, right?
Cycles of wanting and consuming without ever feeling satisfied, without the experience contributing to any sense of growth or purpose.
Right.
The satisfactions from struggle, from mastering something difficult, creating something original, building genuine connection, activate different pathways. They're associated with what researchers call eudaimonic well-being, meaning, growth, authentic connection, the sense of becoming who you're capable of being. It's slower
reaching potential. Beautiful.
To develop, harder to achieve, more dependent on effort, but it's also more sustaining, more robust, more deeply satisfying in ways that don't create craving for more. When we choose the counterfeit repeatedly, we're literally reshaping our neural pathways to prefer the quick hit over deep satisfaction. And because this happens gradually, we often don't notice we've drifted into this pattern until we realize we're perpetually consuming but never satisfied, perpetually busy but never growing, perpetually connected but profoundly lonely. The loss of self-knowledge. One of the most significant casualties of choosing convenience is self-knowledge. We think we know ourselves. We have opinions, preferences, a sense of our personality and capabilities. But much of this is actually self-concept, a story we tell about who we are rather than genuine understanding forged through experience. The difference becomes apparent when we're challenged. You might believe you're someone who perseveres through difficulty, but you don't actually know this until you're faced with something genuinely hard and choose either to quit or continue. You might believe you value authenticity, but if
sorry for the pause. Look, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like, yes, okay, cool. We get the point that when you go through that hard shit, it develops your brain, your you know, capabilities, your potential, all of this character, you know what I'm saying, all that. But it's like, I don't know about y'all, but with me, it's like going through the hard shit, you don't feel like you're developing yourself for the better. Like, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel, you know, it doesn't feel like that's what we're doing. But I get the whole, you know, the idea of even there's built-in what is this, delayed self-gratification in that kind of reality, right? It's like, yeah. So, but then you don't feel like you're developing anything of value when you go into that. It's always at retrospect, you know what I'm saying? Looking back at what you went through and what you developed on the other side. But it's like, it's only when you get to the other side, right? Like, it's kind of a mindfuck, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I guess that's the reality of things, right?
You've organized your life around maintaining an aesthetic for social media. That belief is aspiration rather than reality. Struggle forces confrontation between who we think we are and who we actually are.
Damn, that's
when
true.
You're the new person in the gym feeling embarrassed about your lack of skill, you can't maintain comfortable illusions. You're face to face with your insecurity, your pride, your fear of judgment. You discover whether you're someone who can tolerate feeling inadequate or someone who needs constant competence to feel okay. You learn whether you care more about actual improvement or appearing capable. This confrontation is uncomfortable precisely because it's revealing. The gap between self-concept and reality can be humbling. You might discover you're more fragile than you thought, more dependent on validation, quicker to quit, more afraid of looking foolish. These discoveries aren't pleasant, but they're valuable. They're the beginning of actual self-knowledge rather than self-concept. When we choose the counterfeit, we protect our self-concept at the cost of self-knowledge. If you never put yourself in situations where you might fail visibly, you can maintain the belief that you'd handle it well if you tried. If you never struggle through genuine confusion, you can believe you're intellectually capable.
And that could be the difference between the theory of things and the practice of things.
Without testing it. If you never risk authentic vulnerability, you can maintain a comfortable story about valuing real connection. The counterfeit allows you to preserve your preferred narratives about yourself because you're never in situations that challenge them. But the cost is that you never really know yourself. You're living with an imagined self rather than your actual self.
That's good.
And this imagined self is often more rigid and limited than your actual self, because when you're protecting an idealized self-concept,
It doesn't deal with reality in the same way that your real self would. Okay.
you can't risk anything that might contradict it. Jung wrote extensively about this, describing how we construct a persona, a social mask we present to the world and often mistake for our actual self. The persona isn't false, but it's partial. The work of individuation requires encountering aspects of ourselves that don't fit the persona, including what Jung called the shadow, the parts we've rejected or denied.
Shadow.
Struggle creates conditions for this encounter. When you're challenged beyond your comfort zone, when your usual approaches don't work, other aspects of yourself emerge. You might discover unexpected determination,
there we
or
go.
you might confront rigidity you weren't aware of.
There we go.
You might access creativity you didn't know you had,
There it
or
is.
face fragility you've been denying.
There it fucking is, bro. And as I said, bro, like, right, when you're going through that, whole moment, it doesn't feel like that's what we're developing. But apparently it is. Right? Yeah. Shit. It's like you're confronted with just like ghosts, bro. It's like you literally feel schizophrenic. And I'm not like, okay, let me not say that word. My fault to my people who you know are going through schizophrenic episodes and things like I'm not okay. Let me get off that. Like you probably like seeing things that are not like probably real. And that's like, and the danger to that is that you end up believing that, like, bro, I'm not going anywhere, but we're literally going somewhere, right? Apparently.
These discoveries expand your understanding of who you actually are beyond
Beautiful.
who you've been trying to be.
Beautiful.
The counterfeit keeps you comfortable but partial. You only encounter the parts of yourself that fit your current self-concept.
Yep.
You remain a stranger to yourself, familiar with your surface, but unacquainted with your depths. What atrophies without use? There's a physical principle that applies equally to psychological development.
What's that?
Capacities unused atrophy. When we build an environment designed to make us never need certain psychological capacities, those capacities diminish. Consider the capacity to be bored. Boredom is actually sophisticated, a kind of productive restlessness that precedes creativity
I'm not gonna lie, I've always thought it. Yeah.
and self-directed activity. When you're genuinely bored, sitting in empty space with nothing to do, something interesting happens. Your mind generates its own activity. You start wondering, imagining, making connections, creating problems to solve.
Yes.
Boredom is the precursor to intrinsic motivation,
Oh,
but
shit.
boredom requires not immediately reaching for stimulation.
Cool.
And we've built an environment where this tolerance is never necessary. The moment you feel slightly unstimulated, there's infinite entertainment in your pocket. You never have to be bored, which means you never develop the capacity to be productively bored.
But I'm not gonna lie, sometimes, like most of the time, you're bored, you go on your phone or whatever. Like you remain bored, bruh. Sometimes that shit is boring. Like brain rot is boring. Like doom scrolling can be boring, right? It's until you see something that like sensitizes like your sense of having your dopamine triggered, right? The dopamine levels triggered. I don't know. Or maybe that's just me. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
To let restlessness develop into genuine curiosity or creativity. The same applies to sustained attention, reading difficult material, working through complex problems, having substantive conversations. These require keeping attention on something even when it's
you
not
don't
immediately
like it.
rewarding,
Yes.
even when you're confused or frustrated.
Oh,
This
shit.
capacity develops through practice, but when every difficult moment can be avoided.
Oh my god, this is some beautiful shit. I think I gotta get this video on a playlist or some shit. Yeah, look, I think this video might just help me literally quit this weed. Thanks.
By
Thanks.
reaching for your phone,
Genuinely.
when every paragraph that requires effort can be skipped for a summary,
You're kinda
when
right.
every moment of confusion can be resolved instantly
Oh, shit.
rather than through sustained
Oh,
thought,
shit.
this capacity atrophies. You become someone who can only engage with what's immediately comprehensible or entertaining, whose attention fractures the moment something gets challenging. Emotional capacities atrophy too. The ability to sit with difficult feelings, anxiety, sadness, frustration, uncertainty, without immediately trying to fix or escape them is crucial. It's what allows you to process emotions rather than just react to them, to learn from feelings rather than be controlled by them. When you can immediately distract yourself from any uncomfortable emotion, scroll away anxiety, game away sadness, consume away uncertainty, you never develop this capacity. You remain emotionally reactive, controlled by feelings because you've never learned to sit with them long enough to understand them. Perhaps most important is the capacity for uncertainty. Most meaningful questions don't have clear answers. Most important decisions involve incomplete information and genuine ambiguity. The ability to hold uncertainty without immediately resolving it into false certainty is crucial for nuanced understanding. But we live in an environment promising certainty on demand. Search engines give us the answer. Algorithms tell us what we'll like. We can find communities confirming whatever we want to believe. Experts providing certainty about anything we're uncertain about. We never have to sit with, I don't know, or it's complicated. And so we lose the capacity to tolerate uncertainty, to hold multiple perspectives, to sit with ambiguity. These aren't abstract losses. These capacities for productive boredom, sustained attention, sitting with difficult emotions, tolerating uncertainty, are the infrastructure of mature psychological life. They're what allow depth of thought, emotional wisdom, genuine creativity, nuanced understanding. When they atrophy, you don't just lose the ability to do hard things.
What do?
You lose access to entire dimensions of human experience that require those capacities. The efficiency illusion. There's a seductive...
Alright, wait. I feel like we'll carry on with the efficiency illusion after a word from our sponsors. And here's what I'm trying to do, right? I'm gonna have to break this video down into two parts. You feel me? Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this one into 2 parts. So I guess the part 2, the difference in the titling, will just have the little part 2 in brackets, right? I don't know. Let me hop into the moral of story, right? To what I've picked up so far, and then we'll hop into like the part 2 immediately. Feel me? There's a reason. There's a good reason. Let me see something quickly though. Okay, let's keep rocking.
With logic to choosing the counterfeit, it feels efficient. Why spend hours reading when you can get key points in minutes? Why struggle through learning when AI can do it instantly?
That's it.
In a world valuing productivity, spending time struggling seems wasteful. But this logic confuses product with process. It assumes value is in the end result, the completed assignment, the acquired information, rather than in what happens to you.
Hey man, and y'all know my principle. Let me reiterate that shit for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a person that lives, up to result. Live according to principle, right? Live according to the process that it takes. Live according to the fact that, get your reward system sensitized to the fact that you're doing the process, right? Get your satisfaction from being a character that's fallen in love with the process of things, because it'll keep you on there. You know what I'm saying? For as long as you feel necessary, right? You at that point, you're the only one that can stop that process, instead of like a weak ass result. You know what I'm saying? Whereas a whole lot of people with the modern brain, you know what I'm saying, a result has kind of like a weak outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's underwhelming. It's like, it's hard. It's like, bro, I can just get these important points in a couple minutes. Shout out to my boy AI. Shout out to my boy Copilot. Thanks. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, yeah, like one indication of like shit not going your way, you're out of there. Of which, right? That's what we're trying to avoid, right? Not letting up or giving up like unnecessarily towards whatever goal you're trying to reach, right? So be a principled person instead of just like a person that just moves with the wind, right? That's the whole...
You during the process of getting there. For genuine psychological development, the process is the point. When you read a difficult book rather than watching a summary, you're not just acquiring information more slowly.
What are you doing?
You're developing your capacity to engage with complex ideas, to sustain attention on something that doesn't immediately reward you, to think alongside another mind. When you struggle to write rather than having a
look, man, it's back to that concept of what Sisyphus rock, right? Sisyphus is rock. Like this is a whole lot of that, bro. You know what I'm saying? The whole struggling thing, going up the mountain just for the rock to go back down, and then you gotta repeat the whole process. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fall in love with the process of you pushing that rock up the fucking mountain, nigga. I don't know, like something. You know what I'm saying? Fall in love with the fact that that might make you mad tough and you might get all these muscles. You know what I'm saying? Might as well looks max. Looks max off of you struggling. Maximize the shit. Maybe you're maximizing on your fitness. I don't know, man. As I had already mentioned, right? We might have to break this video down to man. Saying, if I can at least get an hour in, I'm cool, right? So if the video happens to go longer than that, I might have to break this shit down to like 2 parts with it. You know, I will go into my moral of story though too, because I scheduled that. You know what I'm saying? I got to give y'all that information. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, with that being said, man, a word from our sponsors and then we should be cool, right? Quick little word from our sponsors. Let's get it.
Crying and lying, we're just walling all day. Fake comments ain't running up in our sides, so we finding our way. Give me the loot. Who got the key to the zoo? Mama, she lying. Daddy too weak for the truth. Baby, got his nerve. No service. Pull out for your purchase. Beats, tell you shit. Stick that shit for these young ladies drunk on shit. Either the sun, run up a leg. Whichever you think counts, make it legit. Why you think it's a Zulu chillin' on my stoop? My heavens on earth, the universe begot my roots. It ain't no ego too new to me, I call y'all flukes. Age of Aquarians drooling for the stars, I ain't juice. It ain't no level too high up, yeah. That we can't reach with our eyes closed, like no cap. Infinite water deep dive, yeah. Ralph smart to these dumb nugs, y'all flowing, jack, give me the loot. Who got the key to the zoo? Mama, she lying. Daddy too weak for the truth. Baby, got his nerve. No service. Pull out for your purge. Beats, tell you shit. Stick that shit for y'all ain't drunk on shit. Either the sun, run up a leg. Whichever you think counts, make it legit. Already know I'm designer. My type of cloth ain't a missus. I just mean like I'm an honor. Give it the time and the dick. I'd rather you keep it 1,000. I smack all that cap off your lip. Look at the dumb, make a script with the dollar. So after we fuck out the dick, trick, catch your face.